Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health Radio and TV. I'm your host, Sarah Banta. I'm a health coach, natural supplement expert, and a busy mom of 3 teenagers. Today, my guest will be talking about strength training and the importance of a strong physical body, especially as you age. And I know that you need that strong physical foundation to work on your mental and spiritual growth, whether it's overcoming anxiety and depression, losing weight, or detoxing the body in the proper way, and even increasing your level of frequency in life. You need that strong physical foundation of health in order to gain the willpower to make the bigger changes in life. If you're new to following me, I specialize in helping you get there. You can find my health articles, my cutting-edge natural supplements, devices, and protocols at acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I dive into an array of health conditions, their causes and symptoms, and how to address them naturally. And I have spent thousands of dollars and hours of my time biohacking different supplements, technologies, and diets that don't work so that you don't have to. If you have any issues yourself you need help with, you can email me directly through the website. I personally read every one. Accelerated Health Products is the sponsor of the show. So as you support my website, I'm able to bring you more cutting edge content and guests to the show. So as I mentioned, we're going to be diving in today on how to optimize your health through exercise and the right kind of exercise for your age. It's not the same whether you're a man or a woman or a teenager or in your 50s. But first, I want to talk about some tools that you can use to enhance the results you get through strength training. And I use every single one. Accelerated Keto. And this is not just any keto supplement. When your body is running on ketones that are produced by the accelerated keto, combined with a low carb diet, instead of utilizing glucose for energy, that ATP production increases significantly, and that's in the mitochondria, and that is true cellular energy. That is not the energy you get from your coffee or your Monster drink. It's true cellular energy. And additionally, the ingredients in the accelerated keto break down those saturated fats into unsaturated fats. And these unsaturated fats are easier for the body to utilize and easier for the body to convert into ketones during exercise. So your body fat is more readily available to burn for that energy, which increases ketones and autophagy mechanisms even further than what you would get from just exercise alone. And because of this property, that accelerated keto is able to defat the liver as well. We want to get rid of that fatty liver, and we want to get rid of that visceral fat, which is that dangerous gut fat that everyone's fighting, especially as we age. And the more a person's liver is defatted and unclogged, the easier it is for the liver to function in all areas, including breaking down fat and using that as energy and increasing that mitochondrial biogenesis that we're after. It's also where the thyroid hormone converts from T4 to T3. And so we need that liver to be functioning better, because then your thyroid's working better, then your metabolism is working better, mitochondrial function is working better, your energy goes up. And something else that people don't realize is that accelerated keto has something called HMB. HMB comes from leucine. People see that leucine is an additive amino acid in most protein supplements that the bodybuilders are using, right? To make sure they're getting a lot of muscle strength from their leucine and the amino acids. But the reality is only 3% of leucine turns into HMB, and HMB is what prevents muscle wasting. So it's super important to maintain that muscle mass, especially as we get older. And so we need that to help encourage the fat burning and the muscles strengthening. Also, the accelerated keto has something called mucal, and this is known to break down fats in the body and provide energy, that energy spark to burn those fats and break it down. So with that said, that accelerated keto is going to really bump up your results with your exercise. Next are some patches, LifeWave stem cell patches that actually enhance the ATP production, reverse aging, and really help you benefit from your exercise. The energy enhancer patch increases ATP production in the mitochondria, increases heart rate variability, improves the bioelectrical measurement or the phase angle or the integrity of the cells, and reduce inflammation and increase endurance. I wear them every single day, and it's like within 15 minutes, my energy is increased. I can feel it. So when you put that in addition with the accelerated keto, that ATP production significantly increases, and they work synergistically together. Also, the accelerating iodine. Iodine is needed for your metabolism, for your thyroid, but it's also needed to kick out the toxins and the radiation, the heavy metals in the cells. And those things could be bogging you down and bogging your energy down and causing weight gain that's unexplained. And especially in today's world with all of the radiation and the toxins we are exposed to, accelerating is so important. It produces 36 ATP per mitochondria versus only 2 when you are burning glucose for energy. So that is a significant increase. So once again, you put the accelerating, the energy enhancer patches, the accelerated keto together, that ATP production is just skyrocketing. And you are also going to have a functioning thyroid that is the master gland of your body. Real quick, the last 2 are the X49 and the X39 patches. These are going to increase energy and recovery from exercise, improve cardiovascular function and focus, increase muscle tone and strength, increase lean body mass and bone density, which is really important as we get older, and reduce body fat. And it actually, the X39 reverses your age and resets over 4,000 genes to a younger state. So your body is acting as if it's its younger self. And that means especially when you're exercising. So you're going to get the benefits that you used to get. So I give more tips and tools through my free group coaching. If you're interested, you can join with the link below on Telegram or email me through acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I would love for you to join and learn. The difference between me and any other group coaching is I provide the most cutting edge frequency enhanced supplements that work synergistically with each other, and your body doesn't experience those flu-like symptoms. You do feel great day one. So leave a comment below if you're interested, or check it out at the website acceleratedhealthproducts.com. Now to the good stuff. Wellness coach, hormone balancing fitness expert, and Flipping 50 founder Debra Atkinson has helped over 250,000 women flip their second half with the vitality and energy they want. How many women do you know get to that age of 40 and go, gosh, my body is not responding to what I used to do anymore. My body's changed. Now what do I do? Well, Debra's the best-selling author of You Still Got It, Girl, the After 50 Fitness Formula for Women. Navigating Fitness After 50, your GPS for choosing programs and professionals you can trust, and Hot Not Bothered. So Debra hosts Flipping 50 TV and the Flipping 50 podcast, which you can hopefully find me on soon. She's a frequent speaker and TEDx presenter as well. Welcome, Debra. How are you today?
Hello. I'm wonderful and so glad to be here. How are you?
I'm so excited for you to be here. There's so many people I have in my mind. Most of my clients, women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, that just things aren't working, right? They just aren't working as much. And you've got women like me that has been exercising since high school because that's what I did. And then you've got women in their 60s that have never exercised in their life. But we all need your tools. But before we get into it, Why don't you tell everyone your story and what led you with such passion to take this on?
Well, I think the short of it is I've always been an old soul and was raised by older parents and older siblings. And when I went to college, I was always given the older adults, the retired faculty members, when it was time to have guinea pigs that were real humans. And I was able to develop rapport with them early on. So it was a comfortable fit. And so you can say since I was 22, I had been doing, by the time I was 49 or 50, 30 years of experience working with midlife women, not knowing where it would lead me. But, in the last 10 years of that time, I began to hear over and over because what was happening then is the baby boomers were all hitting menopause and going through it and realizing, it was such a big wave of people that baby boomers, of course, were a very different generation, not willing to settle. Like, this is not okay. We're not going to do what we saw our parents do. And so they began to raise questions and say, no, that's not okay. That my doctor's just saying, well, welcome to menopause. So I did not set out to begin flipping 50. When I left my job in safety and security at 49, it was to help fitness professionals who were good and had the knowledge, but also had the heart to really do beneficial things for their clients, but who couldn't market or sell. Because notoriously, that is really, we lose the good people in the fitness industry because they don't know how to market and they really hate that part. And the truth of it is, we need them to be skilled because there are marketers out there who can't help, who are taking dollars and don't really care. They want low maintenance customers, and they're just after the next one. And so my mission has always been to raise the level and the standard of choice for customers in the fitness industry. But when I quit and realized I can't not be doing the thing that I'm going to be teaching them to do. So I thought, okay, well, now I'm going to narrow things down. I'll choose one market and continue to do that so I can show them this is how it's working. And flipping 50 took off because it was the perfect time to be doing that and helping, because no one else was talking to midlife women in a way that was respectful, hopeful, and inspirational. And we now have so much science about them specifically, but it's not used. So when I say so much, we have it to use, but we have a very small amount of it, and it's not used in mainstream. 39% of sports medicine and exercise science research features females. Now, females have had worse odds before. You may think that's not bad, but now when you think women go through about 7 on average hormonal changes in their life. Not every woman does all 7. Some women choose to be overachievers and do some of them multiple times, right? With multiple pregnancies, for instance. So on average, now if you take 39% and we're dividing it up into those different phases, there's very little research features a woman in any one phase of hormone change she's in her life. So if we didn't know to ask, and honestly, 7 years ago, I wouldn't have known this either. And I had taught it, for decades. If we didn't know to ask, was that program built based on research on women just like me? Because much of the research is based on mice or young athletic men at the peak of their muscle mass, whom we are at midlife, maybe in our mid 50s, nothing like in terms of our hormone profile. So we can't expect what worked for them to work for us the same way. So at Flipping 50, the mission we've decided is we apply 100% of that research that features females, that is proven. And the bigger the study, the better. Unfortunately, it's going to be a minute before there are a lot of really big studies, but there are a few out there. And so it's not guessing, it's protocols that are proven. And And I'm doing this because it's exciting and because women in midlife, our belief is there's no more powerful health influencer in the world than a midlife woman. She's got 3 generations looking at her and to her as a role model. So ladies out there who may be struggling to do it for yourself or put yourself first, that may be a reframe for you to think about, they're not just going to listen to you, they're watching what you're doing.
Gosh, I have the chills just with that statement right there, because it's so true. I mean, I've got my children, I've got my puppies, I've got my parents, and everyone's depending on me, right? You are the rock of the household, and you have to stay healthy. You have to stay mindful, and every protocol for health, every doctor, whether you're a natural practitioner or extremely Western medicine or in Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, everyone says people need to exercise, right? For health. But as you're saying, the studies are on these young men, and we are not, it's not applicable to us. And I can tell you, for me personally, I was a very strong athlete in high school. I rode at the national level. I played volleyball, and exercise was just part of my life ever since I was a young girl. But I hit mid 40s, and I'm thinking, okay, my body's not responding like it used to. I used to do an hour and a half of cardio, and now it's burning my adrenals out. My hormones are changing. Everything's changing. My sleep cycles, my diet, what works for me dietarily isn't working. And I look at my young daughters, and their bodies are acting like mine did back then, right? Because of my genetics and because they're of their age. And then I look at my mom and in her age group, what's working and not working for them. And it's so just frustrating, because so many women feel so defeated, and then they give up and they don't want to move forward with any exercise program. And so that is why what you're doing is so inspirational and just a huge hope. And I'm super excited because my clients have the dietary support, the supplement support, and the tips over here, but I don't have the time to put them through the protocols for exercise and how to do it, what to do it, and when to do it. So I'm super excited for them to be introduced to you and your programs. But let's talk about what happens with the female body in perimenopause and menopause that changes what we should be doing with our types of exercise, and what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. So, well, as we all know, it's, a hormone roller coaster, and every woman's journey is slightly different. So one of the things that I'm a big believer is we want to look at a blueprint, but it's almost like a teenage magazine quiz. You remember taking those. If you answer yes, then you go this way. If you answer no, you go this way. And you would create your map at any moment. And maybe 6 months from now or 3 months from now, it's going to be different depending on where you are. If you're in perimenopause, certainly that's going to change. But answering questions so that you end up getting to what the answers that you need this moment that you're in. But the biggest changes, of course, are the sex hormones are going to come down. And estrogen, testosterone, progesterone are the ones we talk most about. When it comes to exercise, growth hormone also becomes a big one. But the one that really is the pivotal one for exercise and why what we used to do doesn't work anymore, and the shocker that will drop on everybody in just a couple of minutes, is cortisol ends up being the problem. Cortisol and insulin. And they are the two belly fat bullies when they team up against you. And that's true from a dietary standpoint, but it's also true, and we can embellish it or we can keep it at bay from what we do with exercise as well. So the most surprising thing for most women who hit midlife and will say nothing's working anymore because, as you mentioned, you were exercising and you would do, that hour or more extended cardio, and that began to burn out your adrenals, right? It wasn't giving you the same buzz, the same high. In fact, you were probably lower and like, I can take a nap after this, please. And that is a great suggestion that you've just done too much. We've had the chronic stress, and exercise is stress. So there's the reminder for us that all exercise is stress. The healthy dose of exercise you do is stress. And your body, frankly, likes to be on the couch. And so anything resisting that is still going to be a little stress. I'm all for a little dose of cortisol. We all do really well when we have to give the speech on Friday. We prepare, we're nervous, we give the speech, and then the stress is gone. And that's really what ideally happens with exercise. You have this little surge of I'm exercising, and then you're done, and you're actually far more relaxed than when you started. Relaxed, but not exhausted. Different thing, right? So getting breathless or reaching fatigue in a set of weights, very different than feeling exhausted when I'm done. And so there should be an energy boost that comes back. So it comes down to cortisol. A lot of women will be surprised to find they get fit faster doing far less if they're in the moment of hormone change. And that doesn't mean that if you love exercise, because if anybody is out here watching and they're wanting to turn this off because they're thinking, no, I love my exercise, can't take that away from me. I get you, because I am you. I totally know that. But my body continues to give me feedback that it really doesn't thrive right now with endurance. However, in 5 years or in 10, when you're through the biggest change, that may again change for you. If you enjoy endurance exercise, you may be able to come back to it. It's just that you may get feedback in a moment that right now it's not working.
I had 1,000% agree. And I go through these cycles of what my body's asking for. And I love strength training. And what I realized when I started getting off the cardio bandwagon and moving to the gym and lifting those barbells and getting creative with my exercises, making sure I'm safe, of course, and not injuring myself, it was fun. And I saw the changes in my body. And what people don't realize is that losing weight comes down to what you put in your mouth, but body composition comes down to what you're doing in the gym or what you're doing for exercise. So you can't run a marathon to lose weight. That's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And if
it's actually going to backfire. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of marathon runners are carrying some extra weight because of that cortisol and because of insulin resistance. And what people don't realize also is cortisol increases that blood sugar. And it is that thing that without putting a morsel of food in your mouth, you can be gaining weight because of cortisol. And so insulin resistance, most people in America are insulin resistant or type 2 diabetic by the age of 50, which is really sad. And so what you can do is through diet and through exercise is stabilize that insulin resistance or lower it. But let's talk about why it's so important to strength train as we age, especially.
Well, I mean, you just nailed it. So we'll amplify what you've just said. Blood sugar is an issue. Insulin resistance, meaning the sugars in the foods you eat, and we're talking good ones as well. Beans or legumes or sweet potatoes even could spike your blood sugar more than they have. And that said, it takes more insulin to get that out of your bloodstream, which is what it's supposed to do. But muscle is like a sponge for blood sugar. So the more control you want over that blood sugar, not having those spikes, more muscle is, because muscle is a place to store glycogen. So if you do have it coming in, whether you're keto or not, you're getting some carbs, but you're storing that energy in your muscle, and you talked a little bit earlier about ATP and energy production and mitochondria. We know comparing, now I don't have studies that I can quote on females, but there's a point where, at about 70, we begin to come more even, male to female. Like what's true for them is true for us as well. Looking at males who were 70 compared to males who were 20 in a study, looking at them doing strength training that was comparative. Now, they weren't picking up the same weight, but they were working at a percentage that was the same effort level. And by doing the strength training on a regular basis, the 70-year-old was able to reverse the aging effects and turn his mitochondria back in time. So we know that, quote unquote, from that, back in the early teens, exercise truly is the fountain of youth, right? So together with supplements, doing the right diet and doing the exercise, I think you can now, definitely in your 50s and your 60s, you can look around you. You can see it on faces. You can see it in the way your friends are walking. You know who's active. You know who's taking care of themselves and who's not. And you can begin to see it just visually. I think it wasn't as true. We could hide it much easier in our 30s, whatever our habits might be. But, we're at a point now where results don't lie. The habits that we've had are showing up and telling us either keep going down this path or maybe we need a course correct. And here's where you can start. So strength training is so very big because increasingly muscle mass is important for the blood sugar, but it's also during the last couple of years of perimenopause, the first couple of years of postmenopause. So menopause itself just being that moment in time really where you're 12 months from your last regular cycle. So for females, that's kind of where you are. During that 3 to 5 year span, kind of on either side of menopause, women are at accelerated risk of loss of muscle because that estrogen has come down. And although we've always associated testosterone with muscle, and there's some truth that we need it, estrogen is a muscle stimulator as well as a bone stimulator. For decades, we've known that as we lose estrogen, bone density goes down. But in the last 5 or 6 years, we've really relayed it mainstream, and not everybody still has heard that message, that as soon as estrogen goes down, it's like you're sitting on a 3-legged stool and one of them is gone and you've got to replace this one. Otherwise, you're off balance. We're losing muscle rapidly. And that sets you up for your future, your next 10 or 20 or 30, or I don't know about you, but I'm going to triple digits. So,
Me too.
We got to get it together, right? If we're going to make it that long. So if we're going to play together, and have other friends, we got to be spreading the word. But the best way to do that is to start intensifying your workouts. And I think this is where, when we say less exercise is actually what you need, we don't want to make the mistake of saying, you don't need, chair aerobics. You don't need to be treated gently. You're strong. Turn around and look behind you at all the things you've done in your life. There's nothing timid about us, right? We've gotten this far. We've done a lot. We need intensity in our exercise more than we ever have, provided you're not in that adrenal stress space. If you're in a hole, you've dug yourself a hole, we need to fill that hole back up before you're then ready for intensity. But we do need to reach muscular fatigue during our strength training workouts, and we need to reach breathlessness when we're doing high intensity interval training. And it doesn't last for hours, just minutes of doing appropriate exercise is all it really takes. But we've got to pick up the slack for where estrogen left off. And even those people who are choosing to do HRT, your levels are never probably going to be what they were when you were naturally in your reproductive years. So we're still needing to offset a reduction of that natural estrogen source.
It's so important to be addressing what you just did because the hormonal changes, I've seen that where it's hard for me to maintain muscle mass as much
Mm,
as I did in the past. And when I saw that happening in my body, then I started really digging in on the heavy weights
mhm,
and some of the
mhm.
tools that I mentioned in the beginning. And it makes such a difference because there are direct studies that are linking longevity to muscle mass. It's a
Yeah.
black and white correlation. Um,
Mhm.
Before we go any further, Deborah, because there's a lot more to talk about, we're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back with Debra Atkinson. Welcome back to Accelerated Health Radio and TV. I'm here with Debra Atkinson talking about the importance of strength training, especially for women as we get older. Debra, I love what you do. And as a mom, I'm trying to teach my girls certain things, but what works for them doesn't work for me right now, right? But why
Right.
should younger women listen to what you're saying now?
Oh gosh, well, because they'll be just so much further ahead of us, and they will get to this point in midlife with already stronger bones, with already muscle mass developed. And I mean, imagine the difference. Anybody who's here and who hasn't been lifting weights for decades, or maybe it's been a little bit, it's been a minute since you got started. The confidence that you have now walking into a weight room or even walking into your den where your weights are is just quite different. If we can take those younger women, 20s and 30 somethings, who are confident in their own skin, in their own bodies, and get them in the weight room, we're changing lifestyles. We're helping someone become a healthier 80-year-old already then because of the lifestyle she'll have. And I think that is so very important. And, the time to start is now, wherever you are, whoever you are, and wherever your birthday is, it's now if you're not doing it. So, those young girls, I mean, one of the best things you can give to adolescent girls is confidence that comes from being strong
Yeah.
and, getting after it, and being praised for the right things. I think choosing our words, but that's true of any woman, any decade, I think, because some of us who are 60 still have to overcome some of the words we heard that girls don't run, girls don't do that. And, that's still going to be with you when you walk into the weight room. It will feel foreign.
I was listening to Tony Robbins the other day, who's very motivating, right? And he's
Right.
just this amazing personality. And he said one of the top three things that he tells people to be successful in life and go after whatever you are going to do and be confident in life. He said is be strong.
Mm.
Said be physically strong because
Mhm.
that physical strength is going to make you mentally stronger, spiritually stronger, and just have more of a presence and give yourself that confidence in life, which I loved and I carry with me. And just like you're saying, especially for young girls, it's so important. So, anyways, I couldn't agree with you more on that topic. What are the mistakes that you feel most women
Mm.
make with exercise?
Well, I think we've really nailed it. We've said it without saying it, and that is that we skew everything to cardio. I think still today, women are thinking if I want to lose weight and if I want to lose fat. I always hate saying this because I'm afraid somebody's going to walk into the room right now and hear me say this and take it wrong. But, I think women still think if I want to burn fat, I need to do cardio. And as we've proven, and you mentioned marathon runners can actually do that, and they are more likely to gain a few pounds. 2 years ago, actually, pandemic is kind of a time loss, but
Yeah.
a little over 2 years ago, I did my last Ironman, and I say my last because I think it's truly my last. And I had done that was the eighth one I trained for,
Wow.
but the timing was bad. I got away with it the other times I had trained. And training for an Ironman is a big, long endurance thing, and it's months. It's not a quick feat. So you're tired a lot of the time, and you just kind of adapt to that's a part of the deal. And this last one, it was the year I also hit menopause. I was exposed to mold in the house I was in. I had to move suddenly. All the stressors adding up, and the physical stress of doing a lot of distance training. I gained about 12 to 14 pounds of, I call it my cortisol pack, right? And we all look for the six pack. Well, that was my cortisol pack. And, then it was a struggle to get off. But I think until you hit that moment, you may be able to get away with things, but I'd love for everybody to reflect on how good do you really feel? I think if you feel
Yeah.
like you have to recover from your exercise, or you find yourself like on the couch saying, well, I worked out today, so I'm not going to do that. I think we want to reframe and remember the reason we exercise is so that we have more energy for life,
Yeah.
so that our activities of daily living are not a stressor to us. So we can go through our workday with energy. We can finish the workday with energy to do the things we want to do with the people we love when we want to do them. That's all a definition of a really good exercise program, not one that requires you to couch compensate so much. So I think it's finding that sweet spot and really letting your body signal you, this is what I need right now. This is actually when I feel best. We do a lot of resets at the beginning of programs for a week, and just to quiet the body so that we can let the mind listen a little bit better. Not every woman needs it, but most women still benefit from it, even if they didn't need it. And now, when they start adding it back, they've got a better idea of how is this affecting my sleep? How is this affecting my sleep? How is this affecting my appetite, my libido? All of the pieces that are actually feedback about how effective is my exercise. And I want to comment on one more thing. You mentioned body composition, right? That it is the strength training, the right kind of exercise that really controls your body composition. And I think right now, one thing we learned during the pandemic, when we couldn't easily go to a gym or didn't want to, we wanted to be safe and we wanted to be a little bit more in our own environment and controlled. Everybody should have a smart scale that is not just measuring your weight, but is measuring your percent body fat, if not also your lean muscle mass. We can do math and we can figure that one out, but you really want to know that you're not losing lean muscle mass. And
Yeah.
if your weight is changing, it's changing for the right reason. Or if your weight is not changing, that it's not changing for the right reason, potentially because you've lost fat but gained lean muscle.
And maybe gained bone density. When
Mhm.
through my program too, and anyone who's doing as you're talking about with exercise,
Yeah.
a lot of women are seeing an increase in bone density, muscle mass, and a decrease in body fat. And
Mhm.
another way to measure whether you're losing the right type of weight is just how are your jeans fitting, especially
Mhm.
around that waist. I always say give your scale to that nasty neighbor that you don't like, because its scale really does. It just tells you how you reflect on gravity, right, on this earth. So, well, there's a lot of women out there that are scared of exercise. And when you were talking earlier about how amazing women are in general, especially living to their 40s and 50s, and how much life they've gone through and how many people they've helped, their kids, their families, their friends, they're such these amazing women. But when you talk to them about exercise, they have zero confidence, right?
Yeah.
But so why not have these amazing women with all their capabilities apply that confidence to their exercise routine, but they've never exercised before? So what do you tell women who are just starting out for the first time, because they were taught that women don't run, women don't do that. So
That's exactly
what do
right.
you do?
Yeah, well, I think we've got to look at, we all have brains, we have muscles, and we have bones, and all three benefit from exercise. Not just it's icing on the cake. I mean, it is the cake. We need it. We've got to have it in order to thrive at all. So, we've got certain body parts. You squat every day. You think you don't exercise, but throughout your day, you're actually exercising. So, you're sitting down in a chair and you're getting back up, you're doing a squat. And if you want to make things easier, you really got to start with something. So, you and I, may have been doing this for decades, but we all have the same body parts. So there's not really a difference between, is this exercise program for beginners, or is this exercise program for moderate or progressed or for advanced? There's only so many movements each of our joints makes. And there is exercise that is variety for variety's sake. And then there's just do the basics that work, gain you strength, gain you lean mass, gain you bone density, and, then be done and go live your life and play. But I think it's that we've got to start with a base. So, depending on who's here. So if we're talking to an audience where we've got midlife and older women here, Frank Shorter was the United States marathon runner who in 1972, the first marathon was in the Munich Olympics, and he won it. And so many of you may have donned Frank Shorter's shorts or shirts, but I knew Frank Shorter and saw him every day when I lived in Boulder at the club where I worked and worked out myself. And I interviewed him several times. And, one thing he said is, I didn't win the marathon by, doing lots of fast running. And I just did a base, it is the foundation. Like I just did that stable kind of slow level exercise. That's what wins the races, and you can't go fast if you don't have that. So, if you're not doing anything, I would suggest you get started with that foundation building, which is really walking, or your own personal equivalent to walking, whatever is comfortable for your body. Maybe for you, that's elliptical or it's riding a bike, depending on your joint needs. And then begin to build with strength training. That's probably number 2. The myth that we've all grown up with that during our lifetime, we're going to continue to hear is that moderate exercise is actually the goal. It is not. Moderate amounts of low level and of high level intensity exercise is actually the key to better immune system, which therefore means better hormone balance. That middle ground is actually where we get in trouble. That is, all of us who were cardio queens in the 80s, we really, when you think about it, probably didn't feel all that good. Not all that much energy, right? We were tired all the time, but and having snack wells and sugar and right? And that probably got us into trouble. But really, it's go walking, do a lot of walking, do a lot of movement because you enjoy it. do a little bit of high intensity interval training once you're ready for that. And strength training is a girl's best friend.
Awesome. Well, we just have a few minutes left. Do you want to explain your new program that you're launching March 9th next week? And the link is going to be below in the notes for all of you women that want to join Stronger. So it opens the 9th, correct? March 9th?
Absolutely. Yes. So we're open tomorrow. Yeah. So it's a 12-week program, and it is 12 weeks on purpose. So we know life is messy for middle-aged women, or if not for all women. There's time to fall off the bandwagon. But the thing is, you're in a program and you won't get run over by it. So my belief is I want to be there when that happens so that we can help you learn when it happens again in your life, because unless you don't have meaningful people and things in your life, it's going to happen again, right? And so being there with you, but it's a twice a week strength training. And you were talking about reversing aging, and twice a week strength training for 6 months reverses the effects of 179 genes associated with aging. So what I'm asking you to do is spend 3 months with me. You'll be halfway there. You'll look better already, right? But you will feel better for sure. So twice a week, no more than about 90 minutes a week total. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. We also have people who participate in the gym. They're ready to go back and they want to do it. It's all with dumbbells, though, and very affordable and economical to have those pieces in your home. And they're probably already there, let's be honest, right? And so easy to get started. And again, not everybody can do every exercise. So we have an if this, then that cheat sheet. If you can't do a squat, here's the substitute when that comes up. So there's always going to be an instance where something might need a modification, a substitute, and we're giving them to you. And you also get, in addition to the 12 weeks with us and access to the videos, a community of women just like you in the same moment of life that you're in.
And that is the key. The
Right.
community is the key. And Debra knows her stuff. I cannot stress the importance of what she's teaching and the benefits being enhanced with some of the supplements and the diet protocols that I'm promoting and helping you and guiding you along the way as well. You get both of us. And what else is great is she is definitely familiar with my supplements, and we are on the same page as far as dietary protocols. And so you're getting two people that are accessible and giving you the best chance at success. So amazing communities, both through both of us and together. And I just would love to see some of you women out there take control. You deserve it. You have given so much to so many people in your life, and this is one way to give back to you. So Debra, thank you so much. And everybody else, if you have interest and you can't find the link, let me know and I will directly send it to you. And if you have any questions for me, you can always shoot me an email through the website, sarah@acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I'm happy to put together a protocol for you that goes along with Debra's protocol as well. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram under Accelerated Health Products, and my YouTube channel, and all over 100 podcast platforms under Accelerated Health Radio, including iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, Pandora, or whatever podcast platform you subscribe to. Join us every week, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and you can use coupon W4HC20 for 20% off site-wide. Thanks again, everybody, and have a great week. Thanks, Debra.
Thank you so much.